Hey everyone, it's your girl Emma. Thanks so much for tuning into the African Diaspora News channel. Today we're going to talk about racism in the real estate market. I'm going to show a clip of a Black woman with a young baby and family that found a place, paid her first and last, but then all of a sudden she was refused that rental. Also show a clip of an article that talks about what the city intends to do to combat racism in the real estate market, and also share some statistics of what people of color have been suffering at the hands of the real estate market. I'm going to roll the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Family is speaking out tonight after they say a landlord refused to rent them a unit even though they had paid their first and last month's rent. They believe the refusal was racially motivated. A human rights lawyer tells us anti-Black racism is entrenched in the housing market, preventing excellent tenants from securing a place to live.
I never thought it would happen to me, to be honest with you. I was so shocked.
Searching for a place to live with her family was already a burden amid a global pandemic, but made even worse after Roxanne Lemonius says she believes she was refused housing because of the color of her skin.
I've lived here in Canada since I was like 4. And you grew up in this is like the most multicultural place ever, right? And to see it happen so blatant, and I had my baby, that to me was the hardest part, and it's still the hardest part.
So the Toronto Star has just released an article talking about ending discrimination in the real estate industry. The article goes on to state that 1/3 of realtors have said that they have faced some form of discrimination or racism. And 1 in 4 BIPOC realtors have said that they have had clients that did not want to work with them based on their race. The article goes on to also talk about the task force set out by the Ontario Real Estate Board to look into tackling racism in real estate.
So the sister has paid her first and last, refused the rental. And I will say it's very difficult to find rentals in the province of Ontario. It's not easy at all. The prices are really high. Single income earners, it's very, very difficult to find apartments. And then on top of that, depending on the area you're in, the prices can be crazy. So when you finally find one and you pay your first and last, it's like a major accomplishment. So for her to be refused is so unacceptable. And then she also mentioned, however, that she said Toronto is multicultural, and that is true. Multicultural as it relates to, it's a melting pot of different races that live here, but it's not cultured. We lack culture, and that is one of the problems. And racism is so prevalent as well. So whether or not we're multicultural, it doesn't change our fate and what we go through as Black people. The other thing I wanted to also mention is I can actually relate to this. I have a story that happened to me when I was looking for a rental. I was dealing with a real estate agent, so I never actually met the landlord until I went to pick up the keys. So when I went to pick up the keys, keeping in mind I had already paid my first and last, went to pick up the keys, and that was the first time I met this landlord. And I could tell there was just this weird vibe with him. So I had a feeling he wasn't really liking me, but he still handed me the keys and he told me to go in and look at the place. And if there was anything I, needed or was missing or that I wanted, I should come back and have a conversation with him. He went in to the lower unit to pray because, that's the other thing. Not a white man. This was a South Asian Indian man. So he went in to pray, so I didn't get the opportunity to talk to him. But what I did was I sent an email to the real estate agent, because that's who I've been dealing with this whole time, with a list of things that were promised to me in this rental that I didn't see when I went in to inspect it. So I sent the list and I said, this is all missing. And then I was promised that it would all be there before I moved in. So I had gotten the keys 3 days before moving day. Fast forward 3 days, it's moving day. I now have my truck loaded. We ride over to the house. I go to open the doors are locked. or I should say the locks were changed. So I couldn't open the door. I'm now calling, saying, what's going on? I can't get a hold of anybody. So here I am at this place with the moving truck, nowhere to go. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I ended up calling a storage unit, getting my stuff put into storage. And then I later finally got a hold of the real estate agent. And he said to me, he didn't like your vibe and that you complained too much. And I was like, I complained too much? I was just asking for what was supposed to already be there that wasn't there when I got there. So really, it wasn't about not liking my vibe or that I was complaining too much. It was, I don't like her color. And that was the bottom line. And that was racism for me in the real estate market. I actually still have a court case going on, and I'm still waiting for a court date because I'm not accepting this. Fortunately, I live somewhere else. I have a great house that I live in, so it turned out good for me ultimately. But I also feel like it wasn't meant to be, obviously, with this gentleman. So it was a blessing in disguise, but it was still an act of racism. Thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think. I look forward to your comments. As usual, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next one. In the meantime, I'll see you next time. Peace be.